What up? What up? What up? It's your boy Cauveé, Inspiration Engineer. You already know what it is. Welcome back to another episode of Success Leaves Clues, where we bring you authors, coaches, consultants, advisors, investors, people that can help you take your personal life and your professional life to a whole nother level. We ran into some technical difficulties here on our Instagram live show, so I want to thank you for your understanding, your patience, your flexibility as we get the broadcast back up. We were talking with Theo, who is a somatic practitioner who has a master's degree in neuroscience from the University College London. He's been mentored by Dr. Russell Jaffe. He is a somatic movement educator, and his approach is rooted in Dr. Milton Trager style, with a holistic approach to mindfulness, parkour, urban exercises, and organic nutrition to help others dance in the light. So thank you for those that were here and the feed dropped. We apologize, but we do appreciate you returning. And for those watching the replay, we love that you're here. So we're going to go ahead and get Mr. Theo right back on the
All right, so I apologize. That was on Instagram. I was just about to say, it was telling me here on my side, it was saying reconnecting, and so I couldn't welcome everybody that was coming on, right? And so I was just about to say that, and then it dropped. So that was funny and awesome. So apologies, and thank you for your grace and your understanding and your flexibility. I want to go back to that, because what you said was really key, and I hope you can say it as beautifully as you just said it, because it was phenomenal. So we were talking about somatic therapy and what that includes. What does that mean? So can you share that with us again for those that missed that?
So, yeah, first off, the definition of somatic, what does it mean? And it's really this approach of understanding who I am and who you are, who we all are, as both the mind and the body.
Yes.
And to have this understanding, the way I practice somatic therapy, the focus is on the body, but it uses an understanding of the mind in the approach to the world of sensation, the world of movement, to connect to what is. Because the mind likes to go, you know, here, there, left, past, future, and learning, it's really to train ourselves to come into the present moment, to be connected to our emotional states, to our ideas, and most importantly, in Trager somatic therapy, to the body. And the body really says so much about what's going on at the levels of the mind. You know, if we have anxiety, for example, our breath is going to be more shallow. So recognizing that, you know, recognizing patterns of body behavior and using that to inform us on who we are, how we want to be, what makes us happy, healthy, present, alive human beings in this world, in the here and in the now.
Yes, I love it. You had said a quote on our previous feed, and I hope you write this down for yourself just to be accredited for that quote. You said to be able to smile in the body and smile in the mind. That was a big ding, 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 ding. We got to go back to that. Smiling in the mind.
Yeah.
What does that mean to you when you say that, for someone who has the ability to find joy in their thinking?
What does it mean? Life is a practice, and you know, we have a social life, we have a professional life, we have an emotional life, we have an intellectual life, we have a body life, and really this smiling comes into the emotional aspect of our life, to be able to not just say thanks, but to say, I feel it. Thank you. Really, thank you for this moment. Thank you for what life brings to me, because this world is not an easy world to live in. And so really connecting with that preciousness, that gift, and we have to look for it. You know, it's a practice. It's not, sometimes I'm looking for the inner smile and I'm, oh my God, where is it? Oh no. And so it's coming back to it. Yeah, it's a daily practice, and a personal daily practice of gratitude. And within Trager somatic therapy, it's bringing the emotional juices of well-being, of joy, of that radiance, of that well-being into the body, really having it now, like hormonally bringing it into the body and living it and moving it and being in that experience.
That's beautiful. When it comes to culture, one of my favorite stories that I heard Tony Robbins tell actually was that when you go to Fiji, the locals, or the locals there would yell "bula bula bula," which, from my understanding, means, like, you know, peace and blessings and all the things and love and, like you said, the preciousness and joy, all these great things. Do you find that that is, you know, being that you're in Greece and I'm in America and I've never been to Greece, do you find that cultures are more accepting, or maybe just within the culture practice these things through their daily living? Or what has been your experience as far as how that may show up, you know, culture to culture?
I've lived in London. So I was born in London, left London at the age of 3, and I've lived most of my life in Athens, Greece. And it was a useful experience to go and study neuroscience in London and have that experience of more northern climate, northern culture and way of life. And there's something that hits me personally in Greece. The sunshine, the warmth of the climate really has an effect on the people. You know, this is a country that goes through economic hardship, we can put it that way. And even though that's the case, people take the time to be more.
Yes.
There are negative aspects to that, of course, like, you know, sometimes you have an appointment and 2 hours, 3 hours later, oh yeah, maybe it will happen. You know, there are shadow aspects to that, just letting go and not caring too much, but there's definitely that sense of warmth of the heart that people have that's present, that I didn't feel as much in England and in London. You know, it's maybe the environment. I think also, you know, climate really has an effect on our mood, and this, you know, science comes to back that too. So there's definitely climate that comes into it. There's culture. Yeah, it's that's a fascinating question. There are so many facets.
There's so many ways to take that, right? I said that from I'll be honest, I've said that from an ignorant and a biased nature. And what I mean by that is my worldview is pretty expansive when it comes to, you know, whom I know. But from an experiential standpoint, there's so much to learn and take in. But from an American bias, Americans are very go, go, go all the time, right? And so when you're go, go, go all the time, and you're doing that really, usually, I'd say stereotypically, for monetary purposes, we both know you lack those moments to really soak up the preciousness, or to, you know, be more present, or to slow down and feel your breath and really, you know, see your surroundings. So I just was curious your take on that. When it comes to, with what you said, your specialty is in the body more so. What does that necessarily mean when it comes to the practices, aside from the parkour, because we talked about that in the intro, or and I should say not aside, but in addition to, what does that look like as to how you work with your clients and how you help them develop a smiling body?
I think really the first step is, as you say, that arriving into the present moment. So someone comes to me, my job, my first job is to calm my mind, to be in the moment, so that I can hold the space to invite someone else to enjoy that also.
Yes.
So I have to live to be able to live it, to be able to invite someone else to experience it also.
Yes.
So yeah, slowing down and connecting with what is, accepting the present moment. So my mentor in Trager is a man called Roger Toll, and he teaches this internationally. And he says, you know, the first step is being with what is, so then we have stable ground to create what can be.
Yes.
So it's really coming into the present moment of our own experience for myself, and then inviting the client, the person, you know, opposite me to be attentive, that level of concentration. Okay, I've arrived, where's my car, and what am I doing after? Oh, who is this person? You know, if it's the first, who is this person? And slowly bring things into the body, into sensations,
Yes.
into movement. And that's really the gift of having a body. It's there's so much information that we can use as an anchor to be what's going on, what's going on. That's really the first step. What's going on in my body? What can I notice? What do I like? What do I like less?
Yes.
Where do I want my experience to go? And guiding people into that. It's a journey. It's a process. It's a learning experience. It's a journey. Yeah.
I love this, Theo. You know why? Because as a person who, what I took from the meat, the essence of a lot of what you were saying is there's a certain level of awareness that we need, not only with self, but just attention to detail around, you know, our bodies and things of that nature. One of the articles I was reading leading up to this, it said that grounding is also a somatic practice. And what was really interesting was I was reading a book by Robin Sharma that was talking about, I think it was like the 5 a.m. Club or something of that nature. He's known for the monk who sold his Ferrari. That's like his most popular book. But setting that aside, he was talking about if you're going to do something, do it for 81 days. And there's context. I'm using this for context. I did an 81-day grounding practice and routine, walking my bare feet in the soil, and I documented it here on Instagram for everybody to kind of do that journey with me. And what I found for me personally, that didn't do anything. And maybe my expectation was wrong because I was expecting it to do something. But what I found for me specifically was that when I'm by the ocean or I am by a beach and the sand is a totally different grounding experience, and that's the kind of grounding that I need. Or listening to like a river flow or water sound, like I'm very water based. So I'm curious, have you seen with the clients that you work with where some techniques are more, what's the word I'm looking for? Some people can get more meat, if you will, or get more from a specific technique versus others. Like, is it I guess like my question is, like, when you think about nutrition, right? For the most part, no matter what kind of body it is, human it is, most part, vegetables and fruit go a long way for eating healthy, right? So my question is, when it comes to these somatic therapies, is it like that in its essence as to the comparison to nutrition, or does it come with a level of customization to the person?
I think there's definitely common approaches that work for most people, and so, you know, that level of slowing down, that level of being with what is, to be able to start the journey. For me to have a calm mind when someone comes into my practice, right? Those are definitely things that I think work with all the people that I've worked with.
Yes.
And then comes the other side, the other point of view of that answer, which is we all have a unique personality.
Yes.
We all have a unique past and a unique way of approaching life. We're all in the same life. We're all experiencing the same nature of stuff, if you want, but we all have a unique approach. And that's where the details of this work come in, where I'm listening to the body of the client, but I'm also, you know, appreciating who this person is, you know, what is their potential, what can I help them to explore less of, so that more of their own goodness for the world can come out and shine out. And at a technical level, you know, I use elongations of the body. I will use fluffing of the body, you know, this sort of bouncing. If someone has a lot going on in their mind, two things can help potentially: slow hands, slow elephant weight into, because there's a table work side of what I do, and there's also a movement guided through my voice. So now I'm talking more about the table work aspect of Trager. And, you know, if I'm letting my hands sink into the body of the client slowly and with my weight, that can help. But to the same degree, someone with a different personality might need more intensity in terms of frequency. So I will use more rhythm, more plop, plop, plop. So if I have someone's leg in my arms, you know, a sort of plop, 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 like using rhythms in a way to bring their mind into the experience so that they can be with what is.
Okay, so wait, pause. I want to pause you right there. I want respectfully, because I need to go a little deeper. So one of the articles I read was talking about massage, and that being a type or a stylistic approach. When you say you take the leg and you go using your leg was plop, 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 right? What are you, as the practitioner, what are you, like if I'm in if I was in a moment, in the instant, my soul was put in your body at that moment, right? At that moment that you're doing that, and I'm trying to accomplish the objective of what you're wanting to create for that client, what in your mind are you wanting to do energetically as you're moving their leg? Like, what is your objective as you're doing this, if that makes sense?
So I think the first step is really accepting the boundaries of comfort, of safety. Those are really the fundamental building blocks.
Yes.
My client needs to feel safe, nurtured, so that they can open into the experience and really have an in-depth experience.
Yes.
And it's really interesting, just as, you know, there are boundaries to let's say verbal interactions at an emotional level. Let's say between you and me, I don't know you and we're having a laugh and I make a joke and it triggers you or it hits you somewhere that doesn't make you feel comfortable.
Okay.
Then that to me is it's a learning experience. It's a mistake. It's something to learn from.
Sure.
And it's something not to go back in because it triggers you. It doesn't make you feel good, happy, you know, in a friendly exchange.
Sure.
And really, it's amazing. The body informs us of the exact same boundaries. When I have, let's say, someone is lying on their back on the table, and I have, their foot in one hand, and I have the other hand under the knee, and so, the foot is like this,
Sure.
and I'm moving the body to introduce the client to an experience. There are moments where I want to go somewhere, but the client's body says that's my limit. There, it's not smooth anymore. There's a boundary, either at the level of the fascia, the muscular tissue. Simply there's tension, and the tension is telling me, no, that's my limit, that's my boundary. Or it might be at the nervous level system, where I'm moving and suddenly the nervous system will go, and there's a jolt, and it's like, oh, it moves in of itself. Sometimes the client doesn't even realize, but that's informing me and telling me, okay, the nervous system is telling me something here, there's something here, so I'm going to go slower, I'm going to do less, and I'm going to respect that boundary. And that really allows so much of the information of our body is being processed by who we are at an unconscious level, subconscious level. And so it's my honor and also my duty to listen to those messages from the body, because that will, respecting that, sends information to the mind to say, okay, the person who has my body, my precious body in their hands, they're accepting my boundaries, and they're accepting where I'm comfortable going and where I'm less comfortable going.
Yeah.
And that allows for an opening, for a safety, and really the work of Dr. Milton Trager and Roger Toll and all of us in the Trager community is helping clients reach a state of inner peace and well-being in their own experience. And that requires to be attentive and to really care for the details of what the body's informing us, about this person's past and their potential and where they can go, and working with those aspects of the client.
I love this. So I'm going to use me in this example with your permission, because I think that this is a unique experience, and I would like to just hear your thoughts around this. So to give you the things that I practice and things that I'm aware of and that I notice, right? So, there's a gratitude practice, breathing practice, meditation practice, visualization. I include now acupuncture over like going to a chiropractor. I don't like that jolt of energy anymore. Now it's more about releasing the energy. So, acupuncture from the Asian doctor that I go to, he says, we're releasing the chi, we're releasing the energy, which is just interesting in itself, which is, I'm providing this for context. I mentioned meditation, and then I listen and absorb tons of just audio programming, keeping my mind fresh and helping these things. And the newer things that I'm introducing is like more stretching and flexibility and monk mode, going into just complete silence and being by myself. Okay. What I've noticed, saying all that to say, is that the body, the physical body, when I'm doing yoga, for example, and I'm stretching, I noticed like extreme tightness, extreme, in tendons, in muscles, in elasticity of how muscles move. And I'm also taking 2,100 milligrams of collagen, which is interesting in itself. So I'm going to just give you that for context. So I personally believe, when I was mentioning how Americans move, I'm on the go a lot, and the brain has a lot of activity happening within it with what I'm building. So when you find a person who is more aware, when you find a person who is doing a lot of these different therapies, and there's still obviously areas to grow and improve, that we know that. My question is, how do you diagnose, for lack of better terms, what you're going to introduce to that type of client who may be farther along in his, her, or their journey when it comes to therapeutic endeavors that they introduce or regularly discipline, habitually in their regular schedule? How would you yourself look at all that and say, okay, this is what we would maybe want to consider for those of us who are further along?
So you're saying within the approach of Trager somatic therapy, yes?
Well, with not necessarily what Trager would do specifically, because I don't know Trager, I know Theo. And so if I come to Greece, I'm not working with Trager, I'm going to work with you, right? So, or I shouldn't say when I come, that's what's happening. So that's what I'm saying. So what would be your approach for someone who is doing all these different things as to what you would introduce to them to now? We would have to do some type of experimentation, I would assume, to see what the response would be. How would you handle someone who's doing these different styles versus someone who is, beginning that part of it?
Right. Yeah, I think definitely there's. Yeah, that's a great question. That's a great question. Thank you. I think it's really meeting people where they are. And so that comes with, the first step. If someone is new and comes to me for some guidance for a session, yeah, who are you? Who are you? What is your experience of life?
Yes.
Because I have my experience, but it might be quite similar or quite different, or it's a Venn diagram or not. Is there common experience or not? And so yeah, I mean, sometimes the first session we don't even get to the table work. We might do a little bit of mentastics, is what we call the side of me using my voice and my body language to invite you to move a bit and experience certain qualities of body. And we might not even go there, because really the first step is, who's this person? What's their experience? And that informs me on what I can work with. Because yes, I have experience with traditional Chinese medicine. I have experience with, mindfulness and body scanning.
Yes.
I have experience with yoga and breath work. And so if the person who's coming to me already has those experiences, it means that we can explore the body in more detail. And just like anything, it's a matter of experience, like a job, someone might have more experience, less experience. And so that will guide what can be done, what
Yes.
can't be done, what can be explored, what can't be explored,
Yes.
what can be explored in 5 sessions from now, or 10 sessions from now, or next session. It's really this sense of who is the person who's coming to me, because that's really at the level of the mind and the past, and then at the level of the body, like, who is this body in my hands, in my session. And so yeah.
I love it. I want to tee that up with context. I know that from what we had talked about offline, you primarily work with a lot older demographic, 40 and above,
Right.
Traditionally. And if we stereotype 40 and above, they have more life experience. So that one might assume they may have more experience, especially if they're entrepreneurs and things of that nature. A lot of people are not introducing these therapies, I would say, from what I see anyway, to a much younger audience, right? To develop those habits as they grow. Do you believe that for the parents out there that this should, as they pick up these techniques and as they work with individuals like yourself, that they should teach these to their kids, and that we can, see that shift as well in the marketplace? Or what is your thoughts when it comes to, the demographics and how that could play out within the space of what you do from a whole, Trager and everybody? Like, how do you see that evolves?
Again, that's a great question, Cauveé. Really, thank you. That's part of the transition that the Earth needs, I believe, in terms of introducing from a young age the importance of stretching, the importance of connecting to the breath and how it informs us of our emotional states.
Yes.
And so one of the amazing things of a younger mind is that a younger mind, a younger body has less experience, and often that means that they're more open to new experience.
Exactly. Yes. I love it.
And so it's really when I get to be with to do my work with someone who's at my age. I'm 25. It's a really different experience, and I think it's a useful experience because this work has really given me so much in terms of self-awareness, in terms of how to look after myself. We all have moments where life is tough, life is not comfortable, life is really saying there's something wrong, deeply wrong. And when I have those experiences, for me to be like, oh, I can connect to my breath. Oh, how's my breath doing? Or, oh, how, if I'm sitting, how do my sitting bones feel on the chair? How do my feet feel on the ground?
Yes.
What's my body telling me? And directly that's an anchor, and it's a tool through which I can start to, first of all, accept where I am and who I am in this moment.
Yes.
And if I have enough calmness and presence to then be able to lead the experience into more light, into more well-being, into more freedom.
Yes.
And so when it comes to starting this work, the younger the better, because these are tools that really help throughout life, really throughout life. So yeah.
I love it. Yeah, I love it. We're at time, and this has been just such an honor. I want to acknowledge you before we wrap here. This is our first time meeting in full transparency. And I feel such a deep connectedness to you, brother. Like just already, just in the warmth of your spirit, in the knowledge, in the pace in which you speak, in the tonality of which you carry your voice. There's a power there, and I'm sure you're aware of it. But even if you aren't, I wanted to just acknowledge you for it. And I'm already like, oh, this is my brother. We better work. I mean, it's like when I can agree, we link it up. Like this is done and done. So, yes, I want to thank everybody, for their presence, for their consciousness, whether you are here on the live or whether you are watching the replay. Let us know what your biggest takeaway was from this session. We're definitely going to have to do a longer session because we got to do more deep dives. We didn't even get into some of the other things we want to talk about. But this has just been such a pleasure and such an honor. We love you guys. And one last thing, Theo, before we get out here, what is the best way where people can connect with you and go deeper?
Yeah, so for people who live on the American continent, the Asian continent, the African continent, I do work online also, and this is a gift, and it's something that the lockdown informed me of, that this was possible, to use the online means of communication to bring this work to people. And obviously for the people in Greece, contacting me. I live in Athens. I also travel throughout Greece for this work. And there's a website, and that's www.theos.somatic.care, and that's written THEOS, somatic, SOMATIC, care, CARE.com. And there's also theosomatic@gmail.com, and that's written in the same way as the website. Yeah, to get into contact and to explore what Trager somatic therapy means for you, the audience. And yeah, thank you, Cauveé, for holding the space. And thank you for, I see there are three people in the live viewing at the moment, and for the people who share their time with us in the replay.
Absolutely. It's been such a pleasure. We love you guys. We've got to get out of here. Until the next time, you already know what it is. Boof!